Education, the form of listening and partaking of active learning that takes place every day to empower each student to achieve their goals for today and for the future. Students are being taught either at the home or in a school setting. As quoted by Cindy Murr in her book Homeschooling, and I quote, "The rise of homeschooling is one of the most significant social trends of the past half-century." According to the NHERI, in the year 2003, there were an estimated 1.7 to 2.1 million homeschoolers in K-5 through 12th grade, and recently in the year 2010, there were 2.4 million homeschoolers. Also, there were an estimated 250,000 to 340,000 homeschoolers in the 9th through 12th grade. With homeschooling becoming so popular and is a very positive way in which children can get their education. Homeschooling is growing at a rapid pace of 7 to 15% growth rate per year. The typical homeschooling family is religious, conservative, white, middle income, and better educated than the general population. Some data that I found in this book, Homeschooling, was very interesting by Lawrence M. Reuter, who did a data on the scholastic achievement and demographic characteristics of homeschooling students in 1998, found that almost 25% of homeschool students are enrolled one or more grades above their age level peers in public and private schools. Also, homeschool student achievement scores are exceptionally high. The median scores for every subtest at every grade are well above those of public and Catholic private school settings. On average, homeschool students in grades 1 to 4 perform one grade level above their age level public or private school peers on achievement tests. And also, the achievement test score gap between homeschool students and public or private school students starts to widen in grade 5. There are many reasons that we choose between these two, and there are pros and cons. And today I will be discussing the pros and cons of home education. The first pro is positive socialization, and con is socially handicapped. The second pro is parent teaching and learning materials, and the con is parents' teaching ability and knowledge. The third pro is family background, and the con is redefined family values. And lastly, the fourth pro is freedom of religion, and the con is the cutting out of the religion. There are many reasons for parents choosing to home educate their children, with the most important being four of these: social, academic, family, and religious. Social scenes within schools can be associated with being influenced by peers to be pressured into drugs, alcohol, and violence. And parents see these as pressures, and when their children are homeschooled, it allows them to be surrounded by the positive atmospheres. And whereas critics and parents of public schools believe that it's a handicap that students are not, their social skills are handicapped because they're at home. But they're actually wrong, because students are always in the home from that social scene. And many are involved actually in clubs or even volunteering and being very active in the community. I found a quote by Cindy Murr in her book Homeschooling. And I quote, "Parents and educators usually talk about sociability, but never neglect to differentiate the kind of sociability they prefer. The child who feels needed, wanted, and depended on at home, sharing responsibilities and chores, is much more likely to develop a sense of self-worth and a stable value system, which is the basic ingredient for positive sociability. In contrast is the negative sociability that develops within a child who surrenders to his peers." Next is academic reasons. Many believe that teachers may not be knowledgeable in the subjects they are teaching. And it's not just teaching the subject, it's about how to pass on our culture and learning that the child needs to express themselves while learning. It's giving them the availability to fully learn and express themselves instead of being pressured by media or peer pressures. Also, parents have a great opportunity to use the Bible, and they have the great opportunity to use any kind of books and criteria that they want to. When I was homeschooled, we were able to use like Bible study notebooks and just the different books that we thought would be great to learn while we were homeschooled. Next is family reasons. Critics argue that homeschoolers are actually sheltered in their home, but actually the family is the core, it's the background of who they are and who they will become. This allows the parents to teach their children those core values they might not learn at school. And lastly, there are religious reasons. Public schools have always worked hard in trying to keep away prayer and the Bible and keep away from the classroom. But when homeschooled, you're given the right to use the Bible and you're allowed to pray, and allows the parents and students to practice that freedom of religion in their home. And I like this quote found in the NHRI, and I quote by Dr. Patricia Lanes: "Home-educated families have not turned their backs on the broader social contract as understood at the time of the founding of America. These homeschoolers are asserting their historic individual rights so that they may form more meaningful bonds with family and the community. In doing so, they are now abdicating from the American agreement. To the contrary, they are affirming it." Thank you.